Hey everybody, this is Nicole Nowosad, and I'm here today to share with you a process video I made using the March hip kits. And this one here is just a really pretty page that I made using lots of the crepe paper that's in the collection. So let's get started. And first off, let me apologize for this big light bulb that is in the video. When I set up my tripod and went and hit play on my, or record, sorry, on my camera, I think I knocked the light right in the way and totally didn't even notice it till I'm editing. So I'm really, really sorry if that's annoying you. And if you are upset, sorry. That's not intentional. I made sure in my next video to scoot that light out of the way. So sorry, I know it's totally distraction. Anyway, I started off this page with a lot of papers in the kit. So I just cut 4-inch squares of random pieces of paper, and some of these were scraps actually for a page that I made previously. And I'm just cutting and kind of placing them where I want them and moving things around. And then I'm just adhering them in place onto the white cardstock. And my white cardstock is 11.5 inches square, and I'm going to just lie these down, and then I'm not using a ton of adhesive because I'm going to add a lot of stitching. And then I'm going to trim off around the edge of the paper. And one thing I'm trying to keep in mind as I lay the squares down is just to mix the patterns up and make sure I don't have too much white in one corner or too much of another color in another corner. See that there, the white just was too much altogether. And I'm trying to kind of coordinate triangles of color so that teal with the teal down the bottom edge. And it already mounted my cardstock onto some navy, but I'm just going to trim that off so I can get these excess pieces off at the back of my page. And I'm just rubbing off my excess adhesive. I just use a really cheap adhesive, and it allows me, it just has little blue dots, so it's kind of good because I can save these scraps because I do a lot of project with just my scrap pieces. I actually do a lot better with just my scrap pieces versus my larger sheets. I'm usually only happy once I start getting down to the nitty-gritty of my papers. Full sheets really do intimidate a person, you know, really, sometimes they have this really fun pattern and you don't want to cut into a certain area of it. You know, if there's a word or a fun like scripty area on it, I have a hard time with that. Sometimes I worry about cutting into that and what am I going to need? What if I need it for later and all that kind of stuff. So I find working from a scrap pile or a smaller paper pad or something is actually easier for me, but I'm weird like that. So anyway, I'm just going to finish off these edges. And then, like I said earlier, I'm going to just sew with my sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew kind of across each of the squares, but not around each square, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like going to be quilted looking at the end of it. So instead of having like a box, it's going to be crisscrossed over. Does that make sense? Anyway, so I'm just going to put this back onto the navy cardstock, and I run it through my sewing machine, and I cut out most of the sewing so you don't have to sit here and watch me sew. But I just use normal white thread. I don't use anything fantastic, just a sharp everyday needle. And that's really it. There's no trick to it. So my stitching's all done. It's hard to see. I probably should have used a different color. I'm thinking a navy might have been nice, actually, or even some of that gold. With that little gold from the gold polka dot, the gold would have looked really nice on there, but maybe on another project. So I have this fun photo of my daughter I took at her dance class. We have like this parent observation night, I guess they call it. So I took that there. She was just standing there waiting for things to start, and it was just kind of cute, her standing there all kind of fun. It's so different having a girl after you've had 2 boys, you know, the pictures you take and just the things you notice. It's just so sweet. So I'm actually using a journaling card here. This is one that's in the Project Life add-on kit, which we got this month, and it's fantastic. I actually use a lot of that kit in my projects. I end up doing 5 layouts so far with this kit, and I really like all the little bits that are in that add-on. So even if you don't do Project Life type of pocket scrapbooking, definitely that kit's something you should think of because Kimberly puts a lot of fun little things in there. Like that card there, the You Amaze Me is one of the cards. There's just a small collection of cards in that kit. And they're good for all kinds of projects, not necessarily scrapbooking or Project Life scrapbooking, I guess you should say. And what you can see me doing there with my mouse is I'm actually trying to get a silhouette file to cut on my Cameo, and I'm having the hardest time for some reason. I couldn't get things to cut, and I probably wasted, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes trying to figure it out, because part of what I wanted to cut was kind of important, and I wanted to put that down before I started adding a lot of extra little bits. But my machine, for whatever reason, was not playing nicely with me, which honestly never really happens. I usually don't have an issue with my machine. But for whatever reason, today it was being a pain in the butt. So I kind of forget about it, and I go back to it a few times, so I apologize that you'll see me clicking, because I just can't. I'm like that. Once I get hooked on something, I can't stop. So I'm going to kind of play around with some of the things here. I love these rub-ons, from Pink Fresh Studio. They're like a fun gold metallic. And I'm just going to rub red onto my photo here with part of that triangle design. And I'm going to save the rest. I use that later on. So I'm just going to stick the photo down. And I like these little, I want to call it a journaling tag, but it's not. It's kind of like a quote spot. I'm not sure what you would call it. I think that's from Eolicious in the Project Life add-on kit too, right? So that's a fun little tag. And I really like this My Mind's Eye sticker pack. If you see, there's tons of little label stickers, and like those little ones are good there for dates and stuff like that. And there's alphas, and there's these fun gold foil stickers, and I really like them, but they're kind of difficult to get off, and they're kind of fragile, so you want to just really be careful. And I have like Goliath hands. I have big fat hands, so I always use my paper piercer, my Heidi Swap paper piercer I've had probably for like ever. And if I break it or lose it, I probably will die and maybe cry a little, because I don't like big paper piercers. I really like that tiny one, and I hope Heidi is listening, which I doubt, but I really would like her to bring some out again. Oh, great, my light gets even worse. Even that's so much better. Geez, Nicole, how come I didn't notice that? Anyway, I'm just going to add some twine to this Pink Fresh Studio wood veneer, and I'm going to stick that underneath my photo. Those actually are really cute. I like the wood veneer. It's just a lot larger than I thought they would be, but I like them. It's something fun that's different. I like when a manufacturer comes up with something that's just a little bit different. Even though we've seen wood veneers for a while now, I like the fact that this is larger and has kind of a quote like Happy Zone on it, and an image like with the heart. Now what I really like is this ape that I cut from one of the crate papers. I wish I could spell her name for the whole page, but unfortunately all I got was the A, but that's okay. So I'm just going to play around with some of the die cuts. These are the Pink Fresh Studio die cuts. I'm just going to kind of pull some of those out, and some of the wood veneers from the L Studio pack. I'm going to use that floral, almost leaf shape. Oh, and there I go again, trying to get my silhouette to work. And I should say that at the end of this video, I sat down, I talked to some of my friends who are on the silhouette design team with me, and I just had to fool around. And I finally got to work and had me just switch my cable from one USB port to the other. So for whatever reason, it was just as simple as that. It got it to work. I don't know what the heck happened, but it was really getting me angry, because especially when you want to use something on your page and you just want it to cut. I always wanted to set it and cut it and keep working on my page and then come back. It was really frustrating me that I couldn't do that. So I added some chipboard to the top and bottom edge of the paper, and that's from the chipboard sheet, and I think that's in the main kit, or is that in the embellishment kit? I really can't recall right now, but I just added that in and made everything higher. So I added some more foam adhesive, and then I added that scrap of gold stripe paper just behind my photo block. And I'm just going to add a few little bits here and there. And my page is pretty much almost done. I'm just going to drag in some of the smaller items now. I start with the bigger embellishments and work my way down to the smaller ones. So even though I've already used rub-ons, which I consider a small embellishment, I came back to it because I had the little scrap and I wanted to kind of bring gold into the top corner there. And I really love these puffy stickers from Crate Paper, so I added a few of those onto my page. And then you can see I'm pressing buttons on my silhouette again, I think. Oh my gosh. Seriously, Nicole, you need to just give it out, girl. Anyway, I'm going to stick the sticker down and get back to work. And I think I used this whole package of enamel dots on my projects by the time I was done, so they are such pretty colors. That coral and pink and gold and mint and teal are probably like my favorite color combination. So it really is a good enamel dot set that I I mean, sometimes, I have the odd dot or two left, but this one I used, I think, almost the whole thing. I'm just going to glue this wood veneer down, and then I'm going to add some droplets of black mist to my page, just because that's just kind of what I do. And I'm going to fool around with a few other items, taking my little square off that I cut. And there's my black droplets, and I think that's pretty much where I stop here. I really tried to use those sequins. I really like those sequins too that came in the kit, but I think I'd already added too many little bits here and there of the enamel dots, and so I decided not to add any of those in. And I really wanted to use some circles or some more of those gold stickers, and I just couldn't make it happen. So I think I'm just going to finish off here on this chipboard piece with the date and a couple more gold blobs. And I think I'll add another letter here to my frame. My daughter's name is Addison, so A is appropriate, right, for that. And a couple other stickers. This one's from the Echo Park sticker sheet that came in the kit. Oh gosh, and these are the Craft Market. They're like little tiny word sentiments, and they're so fun. There's so many on here that were appropriate for this photo. So I think I've chose a few different sayings, and I just scattered them above and below the photo. And then afterwards, I didn't show it in the video, but I did some stitching. You can kind of see here in this close-up of all the layers that I added some stitching to those little sentiments almost. And you can kind of see there's the vellum I die cut. Yay, I got it to work. And I used the vellum in the kit, which is fun. And that's pretty much it. So that's my page. Thanks for joining me, and saying hi to all my new followers. So I will see you guys next week with another video using the March Hip Kit. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day.